All praise to honor elders and apostles of great millstone. Salutation to all you arguments out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by going out on the highways and byways, going out on the streets teaching and preaching, and also by way of the internet. Shalom to you, very few sisters is out there listening and learning. This your brother Nayak, and I got a news update. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, fair use for educational purposes only. This is not for any kinds of monetary gain on all these videos. All right, fair use.
Blue Hag captures her victims in a sick game, one that creates a false sense of escape. This way, as they die, which her soul attached to his. In the only way.
Hamid, Sona, Gertinya, Ibrahim, Abu Ais, 12 jaar. Rawad, Shada, was 13 jaar.
Rawad Musa Ahmed Rahab, 14 jaar. Ridal Khaled Mohammed Al-Dalsoa, 10 jaar oud.
I need y'all to listen, and I mean really listen, okay? What just came out of Bibb County, Alabama, ain't just a scandal, okay? It's not just some news story. This is a glimpse of what absolute hell on earth looks like. Children, precious, sweet angels, just babies. Some of them as young as 3 years old. 3. Drugged, tied up, and locked in an underground bunker. I don't even have to spell out what these kids went through. And if your stomach ain't turning yet, you ain't human. And the worst part about this, for some of these babies, this is all they've ever known. That was their life.
Black people don't do that. So-called black people don't be locking up underage people against their will and doing things to them. That's what Caucasians do.
Oh my God! Oh my God, I expired this! Everyone's out here. Sky.
I would like like to be clear from the start. The IDF does not intentionally target civilians. The IDF makes every effort to mitigate harm to civilians while ensuring the safety of our troops. Any incident that raises concern in this regard is addressed by the relevant...
I don't know why this looks so AI, man. Like, this shit really does look AI, bro.
...mechanisms in the IDF. As always, we will present our findings as transparently as possible.
This migrant detention center in the middle of a swamp in Florida has been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. The name comes from the deadly animals that surround it, which President Trump said would keep people from escaping. But now, a judge has ordered a shutdown of the site. The ruling said that it was causing severe environmental damage to the Florida Everglades, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The judge's ruling is preliminary. The lawsuit brought by environmental groups will continue to be heard before a final decision is made. Eve Samples is head of one of the environmental groups that sued the government.
The state and federal government didn't do any kind of impact analysis, and we are asking the court for an injunction to halt activities so that that can be performed.
Alligator Alcatraz has proved controversial, not just for environmental reasons, but because of the conditions that the people detained there might face. The government says that the facility meets federal detention standards. Around 3,000 people could be held at the site as part of Trump's crackdown on immigration. But this ruling will be a major legal blow, and the state of Florida has already filed an appeal.
A Japanese politician has suggested a ban on women marrying after 25 and has further suggested that women have their uteruses removed at 30 in a forced sterilization and should not be allowed to attend college. And that by doing so, this would boost the birth rate in Japan. Now, I usually on this channel, we talk about tech or science, a little bit of sociology and news, but this story was way too bizarre to not cover. So in case you're unfamiliar, the world's population and fertility rate are expected to drop in the coming century. Here you can see our global level of fertility with all of the graphs going down, but especially going down in the developed world. This is extra bad in Korea, in China, in Japan. It's not great in America and Europe. Almost every developed country is facing declining birth rates, and my personal opinion on that is economic conditions, but we're rapidly approaching a sort of Children of Men movie level scenario, and as much as I think the planet is overpopulated, I think that having a generational fall off or drop, especially an unplanned one, would be terrible for management of our planet because nobody would be able to work on anything. A huge amount of our resources would be going toward caring for the elderly. A Japanese politician has suggested a...
All right, Donald Trump had a press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu where Netanyahu walked him around the park like he was his pet, smiling the whole time, and Trump then comes in and says that we're going to now own Gaza. What do we have to do with Gaza? This is insanity. And he's saying, he said, we're going to go clear out the Palestinians from Gaza. What kind of lunatic position is this? And how is this anti-war? And how is this America first? It's none of those things. The Adelson family gave Trump $337 million in his 3 elections. And now he's giving them this as payback. Haaretz reported this in Israel already, that what Miriam Adelson asked for after she became his second largest donor in this election and overall number 1 throughout all the elections for the Adelson family, that Haaretz reported that she wanted him to let Israel annex parts of the occupied territories. And here's Trump at a press conference saying we're sending Americans in. He even said to clean out things like... All right, Donald Trump.
This was a really rare statement by Benjamin Netanyahu after 2 Israeli strikes on Gaza's second largest hospital in southern Gaza, killing 20, including 5 journalists. The Prime Minister said Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred at Nasser Hospital, adding that Israel values the work of journalists and medical staff. It was the first initial strike on the hospital that saw rescuers, medical staff and reporters rush to the scene, but then a second strike strike came through 8 minutes later, causing even more death. Now, these were reporters from international news agencies like Associated Press, Reuters and Al Jazeera, and it was because of that first strike cameras were trained on the hospital, so that second hit was broadcast live on television. And despite Benjamin Netanyahu describing this as a mishap, the IDF says it will investigate. Take a listen.
We are aware of reports that harm was caused to civilians, including journalists.
I don't hear that nigga. AI looking ass nigga.
This is America? This is America? This is America? Come on, even the shrimp? Don't nobody even eat shrimp.
Inflation.
Come on, man.
Inflation.
This is America.
We have seen the Israeli military actually block ambulances and emergency health workers from helping injured Palestinians. What you are watching, in other words, is an illegal military occupation, as said by the International Court of Justice, which is the highest international court of law in the world. We have seen the Israeli military actually block ambulances and...
You want to see one place where inflation and the cost is really gone up in a grocery store? It's the orange juice aisle. Look, Food Line orange juice for a gallon is $7.99. Tropicana is $10.99. I cannot believe the cost of orange juice anymore.
Can somebody please explain to me how this is $100? It's actually $103.44. I don't understand. And the Tylenol...
Untouched for more than 80 years, there is now an effort by some supporters of Donald Trump to add his face to the monument. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna has a bill in Congress that would add Trump to Mount Rushmore. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum left open the possibility, but the practical reality is much different. Dan Wenk is the former superintendent at Mount Rushmore.
You can't change somebody's work of art.
Over the years, people have proposed adding faces to the
Trump trying to change everything, bro.
Sculpture, from Susan B. Anthony to Ronald Reagan. Wenk says the answer is always the same.
It doesn't matter because it can't be done.
But aside from the historic, political, and artistic reasons against changing Mount Rushmore, there's one big barrier, and it's non-negotiable. From an engineering and geological perspective, adding any face is near impossible. A close look shows the mountain filled with deep fractures, like this massive fracture that runs right by Washington's head. Paul Nelson, an engineer who worked on the mountain, warns any new carving could cause serious damage. While the mountain looks deep and wide from the front, a side view reveals a massive valley behind the sculpture, leaving very little room to carve.
Please, you guys, share this and get this out to especially people in Denver. The Palantir headquarters is in the middle of downtown Denver. We need to go have the biggest music festival we've had in Denver at that headquarters.
I'm sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house. We busted our behinds. We had to bust our...
Hi, Whoopi. I'm Freddie. I run numbers on the internet, and I got to show you something. The minimum wage in 1980 was $3.10. It is now $7.25. The average salary was $12,500. It's now $59,000. And the median household income was $22,000, and now it's only $77,000 for a 3.5 times increase. However, rent was $243 on average. Now it is $1,900 for a 7.8 times increase. The median house price was $47,000. It is now $419,000 for an 8.9 times increase. And the big one, college, was $2,300. It is now $30,000, 13 times more expensive. Our median household income, to feel like they did back then, for rent should be $171,000 for the family. And for college, it'd be equivalent to our family making $286,000. And to remind everyone, the median household income is $77,000. So Whoopi, with all due respect, I think millennials and Gen Zs have it at least.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration announced huge cutbacks at the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, in the middle of hurricane season and just ahead of an important anniversary, some of its remaining employees are warning that FEMA's ability to respond to a disaster has been crippled by these changes.
The Katrina Declaration, a warning to Congress coming 20 years after one of the deadliest and costliest storms to ever hit the United States. The letter, signed publicly by 36 current and former FEMA employees and backed anonymously by nearly 150 more, argues the Trump administration has reversed FEMA's progress since Hurricane Katrina blasted the Gulf Coast back in 2005, claiming more than 1,800 lives and costing more than $160 billion in damages. Hurricane Katrina was not just a natural disaster, but a man-made one, the letter reads. The plea to lawmakers warns FEMA's current leaders, including Acting Administrator David Richardson and Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who oversees the agency, hinder the swift execution of its mission. In a statement, FEMA's acting press secretary said, quote, "Our obligation is to survivors, not to protecting broken systems, but employees..."
Fake blood, fake.
This man was the victim of a crazed Syrian asylum seeker who stabbed him when he tried to stop the man assaulting a woman on a tram. The American model had been on holiday in the German city of Dresden and stepped in to stop the migrant harassing the woman.
If y'all didn't think that Europe had an immigration problem, especially Germany, let me drop some knowledge on you. It is 11:57 right now.
Don't try to protect these motherfuckers out here, man. Stay to yourself.
It's 3 minutes.
Mind your motherfucking business.
It's that man.
Mind your motherfucking business. I'm telling you, I can see a lot of motherfuckers dying in these days, or being, let me just say this, unalived in these days for trying to protect a woman, man. Don't do it.
Assaulted that young woman yesterday. Will be released from custody. He'll be released from custody because he's not,
unless she's your wife,
a citizen of Germany. He's not a citizen of the EU for that matter. He doesn't even belong in here. He's an immigrant, an illegal one, a drug dealer, and very popularly known here, especially by the police. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not the first time that man had beat up women, and it's not the first time that the other guy decided to take a swing at my face with a 6-inch blade. If they can do this to the people of Germany and then just get released 12 hours later, even less at this point, where's the law? Where's the structure? If the Germans are held to that law and that structure, if the Germans are held to that law and that structure, but these people could just come in, swing dimes, and hurt, abuse, terrorize, and oppress citizens of Germany,
then Esau, your time is up.
Hello, good morning. The National Guard, I think that's the National Guard. They are in the train station in Brooklyn, New York, and by Barclays Center downtown.
Iran has sought to disguise its involvement, but ASIO assesses it was behind the attacks on the Lewis Continental Kitchen in Sydney on October 20 last year and the Adas Israel Synagogue in Melbourne on December 6 last year. ASIO assesses it is likely Iran directed further attacks as well. These were extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression orchestrated by a foreign nation on Australian soil. They were attempts to undermine social cohesion and sow discord in our community. It is totally unacceptable, and the Australian government is taking strong and decisive action in response.
Hey, good morning. Breaking fuck the news. So I was going through my morning routine of reading certain news articles, to pass information along to you, and most of the time my news is based around geopolitical news. This was a very strange article, and you guys know I do dip and dabble in other news stories as well, because it's not always just about Donald fucking Trump and his administration. So this article is very interesting. If you live in the Las Vegas area, please listen to this. Mystery grows after dozens of piles of cremated human remains are found just outside of Las Vegas. About 70 piles of cremated human remains mysteriously appeared on the side of a dirt road just found outside of Las Vegas, according to reports. The disturbing discovery was made on Monday near the rural community of Searchlight, located about an hour south of Las Vegas Valley, off the U.S. Route 95, Channel 8 News said. A source told the news station they stumbled upon the piles and provided a photo of the grisly scene. The Bureau of Land Management has since opened an investigation into the mysterious finding. Now, the reason why this is very odd, and this isn't like conspiracy talk over here or anything, but this is very consistent with somebody who is unresponsibly disposing of human remains, and having 72 different piles of ashes is insane. One person's body is not making 72 piles of ashes, and for somebody just to randomly see it, know what it is, take a picture of it, and say it was a grisly scene, strange. So if you live in the Las Vegas area, I'm not trying to raise concern or raise a red flag, but we do know our cities and local police departments, stuff like that, do try to not scare the public, and I'm not trying to scare the public. I'm not saying this is exactly truth. I'm just saying this is very consistent with somebody who would do something to somebody and then dispose of the body, thinking like, oh, ashes to the wind. So there's that.
We get some pretty big breaking news. It is being reported from Michael Wolff that Melania had sex with Jeffrey Epstein a year before she met Trump. This was going to be published in a book, and then Melania sued to get it removed from the book. I had that coming right up, and as we know, Melania is going nuts trying to stop people from talking about this, trying to connect her with Epstein, so much so that she's actually sued Hunter Biden for $1 billion because of what he said. And here it is. Yeah, I think it's an important story because it's a story that Donald Trump and apparently Melania Trump do not want us talking about. And so, as I said, there is now reporting that this book that was going to be published or is being published had some interesting details about Melania and Epstein, but they were taken out. And here's more on that. We get some pretty big breaking news. It is being reported from Mike.
Y'all can't even tell, but literally just had fucking 12 to 16 FBI agents just fucking roll up on me. Y'all, I'm literally fucking walking here. There are multiple people out right now. Hold on, if I can tap my camera. There are people.
Why is she out at night? Stupid.
Walking ahead of me. There are people walking ahead of them. This shit is crazy. It's I'm just trying to get home, and now they are running up on every fucking block, identifying people, scanning people, going through fucking cars. They just arrested some random black man, random ass black dude, and it's fucking crazy. And I just got out of the Congress Heights Metro stop. Yes, it's late, but
why are so many babies in Mississippi dying before they even reach the age 1? When I tell y'all so many children, it's so many children. They are saying it is off the charts, y'all. And I'm sitting here how is this normal? Nobody see that this is crazy? Nobody see the problem with this? Why is nobody talking about this? We are talking about infants in Mississippi passing away at an alarming rate. As a matter of fact, they are saying 9.7 infant deaths per 1,000 babies born. They say this is the highest level within a decade, y'all. And guess what race is leading at the top of this? Just guess. If you guess blacks, you were right. Look what it say, y'all. This shit is crazy, fool.
Well, breaking fuck the news. Donald Trump goes on a rant about Cracker Barrel on True Social. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on a customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before. They got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. Have a major news conference today, make Cracker Barrel a winner again. Remember, in just a short period of time, I made the United States of America the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, it was dead. Good luck. And then to add to it, the White House page went to that post that they posted, and then immediately posted, "Go woke, go broke," with an AI-generated image of Donald Trump with a Cracker Barrel logo that says "America First, America is back." We have
We have breaking news out of Iowa where Iowa Democrat Catalin Dre just flipped a seat in the Iowa Senate from red to blue, breaking the Republican supermajority in the state Senate. This is an Iowa special election that was just called minutes ago. This is the special election for State Senate District Iowa 1. And previously, Republicans in the Iowa Senate had a supermajority in the legislature in the Iowa Senate. Well, this win, Catalin Dre flips a red seat from red to blue, breaks the supermajority, and wins now by about 8 or 9 points, but the final votes are still being tallied, so we'll see what happens in the next.
We are learning that the CDC is quietly cutting back on its monitoring of certain food-borne illnesses, no longer actively looking for things like Listeria and Shigella and the flesh-eating bacteria called Vibrio, among other pathogens. The move here is worrying a lot of health experts, since it will be even more difficult to respond to certain outbreaks or to have a heads up when food-borne illnesses are actually on the rise. The two pathogens the CDC is still tracking are Salmonella and the toxin that produces E. coli. And we are learning that the CDC...
Breaking news, Netanyahu has returned to Israel, and he is in Tel Aviv right now. After fleeing to Greece for the past 2 days, he is back in Tel Aviv looking at the damage that he caused. Because remember, he struck Iran first starting this war. So all of the damage, all of the casualties are on this man right here. And this is the face of a man who realized that his plan to drag the U.S. into this war failed. Because today, President Trump announced that we are not joining this war. The United States is not joining the war for Israel. Instead, we are going to stick and defend the Iraqi airspace, not the Israeli. To make things worse for old BB here, China, Russia, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan announced aid to Iran, meaning Israel will be standing alone against pretty much the top 10 military forces in the world. And he's looking at all this damage, realizing that the Iron Dome defense system has failed him, and that Israel is not invincible, something he knew, which is why he fled and left his people behind. Make sure to follow me here for the newest updates on the Iran-Israeli conflict.